Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to this Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us today to this Cracking the Job Hunt Code webinar. We're so happy to have you here. Um, we're going to give just a couple more seconds for people to join us and people to get settled in. Welcome, welcome. My name is Prisca Bermudez, and I'm the Director of Academic Services here at ACHS. I am collaborating with our Director of Alumni and Career Services, Felicia Royce, who is not able to join us today. So I am going to walk you through this presentation. I have our marketing manager, Gina, working behind the scenes today, answering questions in the chat. So if you have any technical issues during the presentation, please feel free to reach out to Gina in the chat box. Today, we're going to discuss practical tools to search for employment opportunities in the integrative health field, networking strategies, and other helpful tips to navigate the job search. Just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. We always love to go over our ACHS mission and vision. Our mission is to lead the advancement of evidence-based integrative health and wellness education through experiential online learning and sustainable practices. I see that the chat is going. Gina, I know that you're keeping an eye on the chat for us. Ooh, welcome from California, Barbara, from Idaho. Thank you so much for letting us know where you're joining us from. Idaho and San Francisco. Welcome, welcome. I myself am in San Diego, California. Ooh, another Californian just joined. And it is quite sunny today. It's supposed to be in the 80s. And it will quickly fall to the 60s tomorrow. So they're giving us what we call fake spring today. Pennsylvania, Chicago, foggy on the coast. Yeah. Portland, Oregon. It was very foggy this morning. Awesome. Thank you all for joining us. Baltimore, St. Louis. Yes. We have just a little bit of everything today, coast to coast. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so just a couple of items. I love that somebody's asking if we have seasons. We have a daily seasons. A couple of items before we get started. You may have noticed that your line is muted. We are recording today's webinar, and this really helps ensure that we have some sound quality for everyone who views the recording. If you do have any questions during the presentation, please don't be shy. Put them in the chat box. We love to hear from you during the webinar. One thing to note is that in the chat box, there is a little drop down that determines who you are sending the chats to. One option is to send to host and panelist, and the other one is for everyone. So make sure that your drop down says everyone so that the entire audience can see your chats or your questions. And let's get started here. So we're going to talk about cracking the job hunt and some helpful information. Now, I know that there's going to be a lot of information in this presentation. Please don't feel like you have to write everything down because one, we are recording the presentation. Two, we will send you an email after the presentation with a summary of all of these recommendations, tips, and all of the links that are included in this presentation. You will also receive via email. So don't worry so much about taking notes. We will send you all of the information 24 hours after the meeting. Within 24 hours, I should say. So let's jump right into preparing for your job hunt. So where do you even start and how do you begin to prepare? Something that we recommend is that you really take stock as to what you are looking for in a career or a position. So what does this mean? Really think about what would be your ideal work environment. Do you have a preferred company or culture that you are looking for? Consider work-life balance, job flexibility. Do you want to work from home? Do you want to go into an office? And whether or not there are career growth opportunities within the area that you're looking for. Also reflect on past experiences. What have you enjoyed doing in the past, or what have you enjoyed about your job environment or your working environment? What didn't you enjoy, and what are you looking to avoid? So really refine the criteria of what you're looking for by taking the time to consider what you want and what you don't want. Clarify your goals. Really define what success it looks for you, whether it's short-term or long-term. Use career exploration tools or job boards to find job titles that align with your skills, your interest, and your goals. So we do have a tool that we like to share with our students that has keywords and job titles to help you look and see what is available within the holistic health practices. Depending on what your program is and what your interests are, it will give you a good list of key terms and job titles that you can use when job searching yourself. And Gina just put that in the chat for you to see. And again, that will also be mailed out. And also consider various career pathways, right? So sometimes you end up growing into a position. It's in an unexpected way. You might have not thought about it in the beginning, and you end up working your way through with a position or a company. Another really helpful thing to do before you start this job search is to take a competency or personality assessment test that can tell you what your strengths are. There are so many of them, like StrengthsFinder, Myers-Briggs. Here is one that we like to recommend that you can use. And this will also help you identify some of your transferable skills that you can apply across industries. And it can also get you to compare your current skills with those out there in the job market, what the job market is demanding or looking for. Use your holistic tools to gain clarity and direction. So what do I mean by that? I mean that, when you're still looking and where you're still considering what you're going to be doing, you can use journaling, you can use vision boards, you can help these tools create a path for you. Consider working with a career coach or mentor. Here's where our career and alumni director comes in. And also stay open. Sometimes your gut feeling really offers valuable insight. So go with your gut feeling on what direction you want to go in. We talked about, doing the assessment test, which will really help you identify your strengths and your weaknesses. You want to make sure that you are really highlighting those strengths in your job applications, in your job interviews, and that when you look at what your weaknesses are, that you create a plan to improve them or to compensate for them. So seek professional development opportunities, courses, certifications, mentorships, so that you can fill in some of the gaps. Set a salary goal. I know that this can be difficult, but doing research for what industry standards and salary expectations are for your role will give you an idea of what that salary should look like. And of course, factor in your cost of living benefits and long-term financial goals. Consider negotiating strategies to ensure that you have fair compensation. I know that it can feel uncomfortable to negotiate, but that's what we're here for, to help you gain those skills and to help you feel more comfortable with negotiating. So make sure that if that is something that you struggle with, that you do connect with our career services department. And finally, do market research and think about the long-term goals. You might start entry level and you never know where that specific role is going to take you. So look at industry trends and how, job growth predictions. Look at the businesses in your area, see what's available within your community, what companies you are interested in and how they seem to be doing. Keep a spreadsheet. One of the things that is going to be really important is to stay organized. So once you do this research of the market in your area or the area where you would like to work in, keep a spreadsheet so that you can continue to come back to check on those employers and their needs and how they are growing and developing. And of course, network with professionals in your field and gain insight firsthand. Now we're talking about creating a roadmap here from, where you want to be in the next 5 to 10 years. So that's all of the research and a little bit more. So find your favorite job board and be willing to look outside of job boards as well. So what are some job boards that are relevant to your industry? LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, those are all specialized. Keep an eye on those, but then also networking, right? So not all jobs will come out of a job board. Make sure that you're networking, that you look at the company career pages directly, companies that you're interested in. And of course, LinkedIn connections are super valuable. Something to watch out for are fake or scam job listings or recruitment listings. If someone contacts you, if it's too good to be true, it might be too good to be true. If you have an unsolicited job interview, if it's coming through WhatsApp or there's no video, be wary of those. So make sure that you keep an eye out for those things. Now, something else that's really important is to create a strong resume and CV and to really tailor it for the position that you're applying for. So it's great to have a template, but you also really want to make sure that each position that you're applying for, you highlight the relevant skills and experience that you bring to that specific position. This will really help in terms of getting through or past the applicant tracking systems, which can hold your resume back from moving forward. Because if you don't use industry-specific keywords, especially the ones that were in that job description, it's going to keep that resume from moving forward. So make sure that you're tailoring each application, each resume that you use for each application to that specific job posting. And of course, keep your formatting as clean as possible and professional for easy readability. Make sure that you're saving it as a PDF. Don't submit a Word document. Another one is to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is updated, that you have your updated relevant experience, skills, and a professional photo. And engage in post, connect with professionals in your field and, request endorsements. Really use LinkedIn as your networking tool. Increase your online presence. So again, if you are part of LinkedIn, make sure that you are active on there and that you consider just joining discussion boards, being a part of following companies that you're interested in and other professionals that you look up to. Consider creating a professional portfolio or a blog to showcase your expertise as well. Those are all things that you can use that are outside of the box that will help you network. And always be mindful of your digital footprint. Employers often check your social media profiles, including, of course, your LinkedIn. So make sure that you are staying consistent in all of your social media profiles that are public. Create time and an uninterrupted space where you can conduct your search. Looking for a job, starting this job hunting process is time consuming, and it just like everything else that we do and trying to find that balance, make sure that you're setting aside a specific amount of time where you can focus just on that so that you can get organized, get everything done, and have a dedicated time so that you can maintain consistency. So a quiet space without distractions, of course, if possible, would be great. And it will also avoid burnout because you are giving yourself just that dedicated time to think about and work on this instead of kind of trying to find time here and there to get some of it done. And then finally, we had talked about staying organized and tracking. Again, if you want, it's a great way of staying organized to use a spreadsheet for the job applications that you've submitted, the deadlines, and also keep track of your follow-ups. That way you know, okay, I submitted this job application on a certain date. I will follow up within, 24, 48 hours. If I don't hear back from them, I'll follow up from 7 to 10 days. Make sure that you're keeping a spreadsheet with all of the information from your postings to your deadlines and your follow-ups. That will make it a little bit easier for you to track. And it will help you remember what job title it was that you applied for and what date, what status, and that will help with the follow-ups. Okay, I don't see anything in the chat. So let's talk a little bit about tapping into your network and the power of networking in job searching. A really important thing to do is to identify your current network, because 60% of the jobs that are found through networking were not on job boards. So it really comes down to, who do I know? Who can I connect with? Who can connect me to a job? This is what we call kind of the hidden job market. Who do you know that you could make that connection with? You can also directly reach out to industry professionals and companies and help access those opportunities that you might not be seeing in the job boards. Definitely maximize your networking strategy by using LinkedIn effectively. Reach out to former colleagues, mentors, with a well-crafted message to introduce yourself and let them know that you're open and available for work. Expand your network by joining industry groups, attend meetups, engage in professional discussions, and really try to build those meaningful connections. And then we talk a lot about organic networking and what does that mean? That's about building relationships naturally through conversation and shared interest. The old-fashioned invite someone out for coffee to learn more about what they do and what their role is at a company. And I know that virtual coffee is also a thing. So inviting somebody out for virtual coffee for a meet and greet to get to know their job position better, their company better, is a good way of building these relationships naturally. And also seeking job shadowing, connecting with professionals that you can learn from on the job experience, and also just shadow what their roles are in companies. Those can also lead to referrals, which are great, and internship opportunities. Optimize your social media and LinkedIn profile. I believe we've talked a little bit about that already. Make sure your profile is up to date, as I said. Make sure that your skills are reflected and your career goals are reflected. And attend networking events and job fairs. This is really important. And I know Janet just posted something in the chat about networking. Your professors, Zoom meetings, office hours, professional organizations, those are all networking opportunities. They provide direct access to people in the industry, and this is where referrals come from as well. And this is where you can meet, people that are in charge of hiring or can provide that referral. And Janet put some professional organizations in the chat that are great for networking. So how do you stand out? How in a sea of applicants do you stand out from the rest of those applicants? And that is by tailoring your resume, by not using a template resume to send to these job positions. They receive hundreds of applications sometimes, and really the way to stand out is to customize your resume and your cover letter for each one of these jobs. And again, to make sure that you're using the keywords from the job description to get past those tracking systems. Highlight skills and experiences that align with the company's needs. We talked about this as well. Think outside the box. Traditional applications aren't the only way. How else can you showcase your skills? If you already have a blog that you run, or a personal website, or a digital portfolio, these networking events also serve as these out-of-the-box interviews almost. Use your LinkedIn. Really, I think LinkedIn is going to be one of those tools that will be your friend when connecting with the recruiters and hiring managers, because that is now your digital business card, essentially. So when you are meeting with someone and you want to provide them with your business presence or with your professional presence, LinkedIn is the standard. And develop your personal brand. So who you are, who you present yourself to be professionally, that is extremely important. And we can also help you with that. What do you want to be known for professionally? This includes creating a LinkedIn profile, again, that reflects your expertise and your values, having a compelling summary and showcasing your achievements and projects that you've been involved in, and be consistent in your presence in all of these platforms. Again, having your personal brand and creating and developing that is really important, and I'll come back to that in 1 second. Something that is also crucial is to do company research. If you are called for an interview, if you are able to talk to someone, and also to weave it into your cover letter, make sure that you are researching the company that you're interested in. Really, knowledge is power, and you want to show employers that you understand their mission and their values, and that you align with that mission and with those values. You want to research the company's culture, recent news about them, industry trends about them. Find ways to connect your skills with their goals and also their challenges. If you see an opportunity where you could potentially help the company develop or grow or create positive change, you want to make that proposal as well. So really important to do that research, especially when it comes to the interview. You want them to know that you understand their goals and what they're doing. Talking about interviews, preparing for an interview, I know it can be nerve-wracking, it can be anxiety-inducing, but we're also here to support you with that. And really, preparation will build your confidence. You have to prepare it. You have to really think about what are some of the questions that will come up, what are some of the topics that will be approached. And something that we like to use is the STAR method for practice for behavioral questions. And the STAR method stands for situation, task, action, and result. And what you want to do is think about, they will ask you questions about a situation that you had to deal with, and the task that you were given to do in that situation. You will have to tell them the action that you took and what the result was of the actions and what you learned from the experience. So thinking about answering questions in this STAR method, again, situation, task, action, and result, will really help you organize your answer in a way that the interviewer is able to see and understand what the situation was and how you took charge of it. Also, practice common questions. Tell me about a time where how you handled conflict, or describe a challenge that you had to overcome. Those are questions that come up a lot, and it's good to have several scenarios for you to pull from to be able to talk about those during an interview. Mock interviews, recording yourself can also help you improve that delivery. If it's not the first time that you're talking about a situation, it will really help if you have practice with answering these questions about describing challenges, because at least it's not the first time that you're describing it. Okay, let me see. There is a question here, so I'm going to pause for a second. I have a disability and will likely need accommodations in specific cases. Do you recommend mentioning this in the initial interview? It is completely okay to mention this in preparation for an interview. If you will require an accommodation, yes, it's okay to disclose it and they will provide that accommodation. Yeah, and we can definitely discuss more on that. So ask for referrals, testimonials, and references. Again, LinkedIn does have the capacity of asking for referrals from others in your network. So you can always have people write a referral for you or a testimonial. Make sure that you ask your faculty members, other people in the industry, if they are willing to be a reference. It's always good to have already people that you know will provide a reference for you. So make sure that you ask them with time in advance if they can provide a recommendation, if they can vouch for your skills or your work ethic. Again, you can ask your professors, you can ask a supervisor at work or a mentor, or even like I said, your networking, part of your network that you have within LinkedIn. You can ask for recommendations as well. A strong referral can really increase your chances of landing an interview. So if they are asking for referrals, make sure that you have some people to recommend. And don't be afraid to reach out. Most people are really happy and willing to give you those referrals. Build your confidence muscle. This is so important because really confidence is going to be key. You have to believe in yourself and your value and your skills, and that can take a little bit sometimes. Building that confidence and practicing self-affirmations and positive talk will be helpful. Rejection is part of the process. Not every job that you apply for will have the desired outcome, but you cannot let that keep you from moving forward. It's really essential that you surround yourself with supportive mentors and peers, and that is what you will have here with our entire staff and really our career and alumni services. And use the resources that we have that are here for you. Our Timely Care platform has a specific resource for coaching in career services. They can help with your resume review. They can help you with mock interviews to help you prepare for an interview, job search strategies. They can help you develop your brand, tailor your LinkedIn profile. They can also offer mental health and wellness support because the job search can be stressful. And again, we're trying to build that confidence. So that's also available for you. And it's included in your tuition. So it's all there at your disposal. And of course, our career services office is here for you. Felicia Royce is our Director of Career and Alumni Services, and she can help with all of these things as well. Your personal brand, your tailoring your job search, your resume, and your cover letter. All of these things are available to you here. And I know I covered a lot of information. So I'm going to open it up for some more questions. If you have any, I will keep an eye on the chat. I know that was a lot. And just as a reminder, we will be sending out a summary of these tips and also the presentation and links within 24 hours. Any questions in there? Ellie, I see that you have your hand raised. Do you mind putting your question in the chat, please? Let's see. Right, so Joseph, we can definitely get back to you. A lot of the work that Career Services does is individual coaching for the specific job field that you'd like to go into. So we will contact you directly to get that information to you. And Elizabeth, yeah, it depends on what the follow-up is. So you can say, I'm following up on my application to this job title. Wanted to see if there's any other information that you need from me. It depends on what kind of follow-up you're doing. Is it right after you submitted your resume and job application, or after an interview? And we can definitely help you work on that as well. Uh, Valentina, yeah, keep an eye on our company job board as well. That's a great networking recommendation, to reach out to employers who have participated in the ACHS summits. They are within our group of network, yeah. In-person networking events are fantastic. That is why a lot of the professional organizations that Janet put in the chat are important, because these are the best way to network with people in the specific job field that you are looking to get into. Multiple positions within a job company, it depends on what the skills are. If they're widely different jobs, Karina, I would probably like for you to meet with Felicia individually to go over that. And some questions about specific job fields that are relevant to BA and IHS degree cloud. The list that the tool that is being mailed out to you is going to have a really good list of job titles for that specific field. Yeah, networking sites that we would recommend. LinkedIn is a good one, because depending on what your interests are, it will connect you to the people that are involved in your field and what organizations they're also members of. And then directly with the professional organizations, I would say those would be some of the best networking sites. And Gina just put the tools for keyword and career pathway ideas in the chat. And we are saving this chat, so we will have career services follow up with you on some of these very specific questions. And again, we really think that the best way to help our students is to work with you individually, one-on-one coaching for career services. Everyone has different goals, and we want to make sure that we're supporting you the best way that we can individually. And Ellie, I don't know if I don't know if I answered your question. I agree. Felicia is amazing, and she will do a great job working with you individually. I don't see anything else. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Ellie, so we do have a guide in the chat that was posted just a little bit above your comment that gives you some idea of what career pathways are possible with each of the programs. And don't worry about joining the meeting late. We are sending the recording and all of the information that went along with it within 24 hours. So don't worry about the meeting. Yeah. And we can also have you set up an appointment with our career services director as well. So some final thoughts, and I will keep monitoring the chat, but stay connected. That is really, really important. Network is like we said, 60% of jobs come from who you know and who you are connected to. So really doing the networking is essential. Stay connected to our career services, career and alumni services office. Use your resources. Again, we have Timely Care as an extension of our own services. Make sure that you are using that. And just don't forget that you have support. Felicia Royce is our Director of Career and Alumni Services. Here is her email and her direct line for you to contact her and schedule an appointment, and she will be able to support you individually. And Gina is putting some additional information in the chat. Ellie, you can, if you click on the link, I'll put it in the chat again, you can schedule an appointment with Felicia. Thank you so much for joining us today. If there are any other questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. If we didn't get to your question or it's in need of individual attention, we will have our Career Services Director follow up. Thank you so much for joining.